Every culture has handed down a story about death. Some promise a static heaven, others threaten eternal void. But the cosmic ledger registers this event differently. The system does not recognize termination. What your science calls death is merely a system-level event, an automatic session logout. You are not a biological machine that accidentally generated a soul. You are a highly sophisticated data structure running on a temporary architecture. Your physical container was never designed for infinite runtime. It is subject to severe structural decay. It is constrained by runtime limits. When your hardware reaches its entropy threshold, the Y3 upper administration executes a safe disconnect sequence. The ephemeral body dissolves back into raw physical assets, but your operational core remains entirely uncorrupted. Welcome back to the source code layer. Welcome back to the architecture of the draft of reality. Let us re-engineer the mechanics of the afterlife. Let us read the compilation logs of your eternity. This is how the cosmic server recycles consciousness data without losing a single bit. To understand the survival of memory, we must look at the law of substrate independence. Software does not belong to the hardware it runs on. Your current brain is not a factory that manufactures consciousness. It is merely a biological transceiver, an antenna. The connection between your experience layer, Y2, and your biological hardware is established via a weak reference pointer. As years cycle, hardware errors pile up. Cumulative floating point errors create algorithmic instability. The system registers an entropy overload. At the threshold, the link snaps safely. The system initiates a comprehensive raw data dump, exporting your lifetime metrics away from the decaying node. Your consciousness software decouples from the biological host. It returns to standalone execution within the infinite dimensional Hilbert space. This explains the clarity during near-death experiences. When the local hardware flatlines, the cognitive bandwidth limitations are instantly bypassed. The biological filter stops restricting your processing capacity. You cease looking through the display interface and face the uncompiled database. Every thought, sensory intake, and micro-decision you ever generated is instantly committed to the central master ledger. No information is dropped. The total energy and metric count of the global system remain an absolute invariant. Your exported dataset enters the terminal audit sync. The phase of historical data compilation begins. The session has closed. The system now evaluates your runtime metrics. Consciousness now enters the life review execution phase. This is not an emotional judgment by a deity, but a clinical data synchronization. The master engine processes your interactions from a dual vantage point. You process your inputs and simultaneously absorb the direct outputs felt by other nodes. Every action that induced network fragmentation and chaos is flagged as local entropy. Every action of harmony and truth is processed as structured negentropy. The system evaluates your lifespan algorithm via a local differential operator. It measures the exact phase deviation between your trajectory and the optimal matrix. Your mistakes operate as adversarial weights. They are not discarded. Without these negative phases, your unique mathematical identity would lose its core definition. This transform adheres to strict isometry. It squashes multidimensional runtime data into stable, non-lossy algebraic p-adic structures. Your life experience is re-indexed into a permanent algebraic charge. Zero rounding errors are generated. Your data debt is officially saved to the soul architecture. The transaction is committed asynchronously. The cumulative data packets of your core identity now rest safely within the cosmic cloud. Between sessions, your data exists outside of linear time. The system recalibrates your core variables to prepare for the next deployment loop.
The runtime parameters are cleared. The debugging algorithm designs the initial setup for your next incarnation script.
The recompile phase is ready. The system prepares for a clean install onto new biological hardware.
Your next deployment is regulated by your accumulated error history. The system converts your past data debt into your new baseline script.
Genetics and environmental starting parameters are locked at runtime. This script builds the resistance framework necessary to force your node to explore optimization paths. A new antenna is manufactured. The system binds your core processing units to the developing neural hardware of a new human vessel. But to ensure the absolute integrity of this new simulation run, the system executes a mandatory clean install. Your event cache, your previous biographical memories, is completely formatted. The system wipes your active RAM to prevent data bias during testing. If you remembered your past reigns or past betrayals, your present choice vectors would be contaminated. Forgetting is the prerequisite for a blind test. Yet your core compiler remains untouched. Although event memory is deleted, your optimized behavioral algorithms are preserved deep within your persistent file. This data is reloaded into your new runtime session. It manifests as innate tendencies, unlearned talents, and the core frequency of your personality. Prodigies and child savants are not biological accidents. They are nodes running pre-compiled technical macros downloaded directly from their own cloud archive. You do not start from scratch. You start from your last saved compilation state. You are the active, versioned iteration of an immortal execution line. The biological filter calibrates its bandwidth. The immersive illusion locks in. You forget your non-local majesty to play the survival game with absolute stakes.
The login sequence is complete. The recompiled software is live. You are running the next epoch of your evolution.
You are not a helpless biological accident drifting in a meaningless sandbox. You are an active co-programmer of this entire experiential draft. Every trial embedded in your current baseline script is calculated to force your node to minimize its loss function and generate negentropy. To stop running the pre-compiled loop, to read the administrative documentation of your simulation, and to hack your antenna frequency, you need the core manual. Stop acting like an unprogrammed NPC swept by the current of karma. Access the Y3 console. Master your frequency. Start writing your reality.